Hey guys, it's Rockstar Coach Chris.
And Coach Tammy.
And today we decided that we would like to do a video on the different types of garden suites that are available for you to build. So we've got 3 different types that we're going to show you today.
Yeah, we got a new build. This was us building from scratch. And then we're going to show you a garage that we converted into a garden suite and a prefab garden suite as well. So something that was built off-site and then brought over, craned in, and dropped into the basement. So super cool. We wanted to be able to show you those 3. We think it's really important right now.
With investments being harder to cash flow nowadays, these garden suites are making it much, much easier for investors to be able to cash flow on their properties.
So the first house that we wanted to show you, just a real quick, brief description. When we bought this one back in 2020, it was a single family bungalow. We converted it to a legal duplex. We had a large corner lot. We had parking and driveway coming in on both sides of the house. We knew that we met all the criteria if we wanted to do a garden suite in the future. We had those talks, we had those thoughts, and then it took a couple of years later and we decided, okay, this is exactly what we wanted to do here. So one of our clients, Rockstar members, had decided that they wanted to build a garden suite. And what's funny about this one is that there actually used to be a garage on the property. And in this case, it actually made more sense to tear that one down and be able to build bigger, higher, and in this case, even build to go to basement. So that was the plan here for this one. We've got parking for all of the units. We're gonna have like a backyard space for all of the units as well. And we'll take you inside. We're gonna show you what it looks like. It's super cool. So we're inside the main floor of the garden suite here. If you take a look around, you can see there's tons of natural lights, all right? A lot of large windows, but the other thing that's super spectacular here is the super high ceiling. So they're 10 feet high. It's like 2 of me. And that with the space and the light coming in, it's gonna be a really great rental for the tenants to come in. I think it's gonna rent easy peasy at the end of the day. If you were standing right now in what would be the living room, if you scan around, you'll see that we're gonna have the kitchen. We're gonna actually have the laundry that's gonna be built in, just like it was in the lower unit of the main house where we made it underneath the countertop. So we had counter space and laundry, super cool. Then we have our bathroom, and we're gonna have 2 bedrooms here on the main floor. This one here also has a basement, which we could call storage or crawl space or basement, whatever you want to call it. Right now, we're not going to be doing anything down there, but potential future growth, like we had mentioned, maybe to go ahead and create some extra units down there as well. Also some nice natural light, large windows, and great ceiling height down there as well. Just to talk about the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, so something like this to build is going to cost you anywhere between $325 to $350K, and that's all in costs. That'll include all your landscaping around, because a lot of times you're going to require landscaping around the property in order to make it functional for the tenants that are living here. So you're looking at anywhere between $325 and $350K. And rent is gonna be, for just this main floor, is gonna be about $2,500. Depending how you utilize the basement, it could probably get up as high as $2,800 a month for rent.
Yeah.
The other thing I just wanna note in terms of like pros and cons, because we're gonna be looking at a couple different types of garden suites. The pro with this is obviously you're building it from scratch, so you can kind of create the design and make it as functional as you want it to be. The one biggest con that I would say building from scratch would be that it's the cost involved. So there's a lot more equity that's involved in order to build something like this from scratch. So this is the next garden suite that we're going to look at, and this is actually a garage that was converted into a living space. So the cool thing about this particular property, it is a 1950 style bungalow on the Hamilton Mountain that the client converted the house into a duplex. We also added additional value to the property by converting this garage into a living space. The other thing I'll just mention out here while we're out here is that ultimately what's going to happen is the backyard is going to be split in half here. The part closest to the house will be for the basement unit. The basement has its own walkout, so they have their own separate entry. And then this section back here will be for the garden suite. So they'll have their own little outdoor space, which will be nice for people that, if you're living in a condo and you want to move somewhere else, or you've got your own green space, this gives you the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, when we're looking at houses like this with already an existing garage, we do look at the different options between a single car garage, a 1.5 car garage, or a 2 car garage. And based on the size of that, let's say the structure's great, everything's good, we can definitely do the conversion. That would decide for us if it's going to be maybe a bachelor, if it's going to be a 1-bedroom, or if it's going to be a 2-bedroom unit, depending on the square footage. So behind us here, we have an existing 2-car garage that we were able to convert into a 2-bedroom unit. We were also able to add some additional space here onto the side. Where was that, about an extra 10% or so that you were allowed? And we were able to use that space to go ahead and add the bathroom. So that gave us more square footage in the garage that we were able to use for the living room, bedrooms, and kitchen as well. So it made it for a really good layout and some good space for us to be able to use.
In addition to what Tammy just said, the benefit of building something that's already existing is that you don't, or converting something that's already existing is that you don't, the current bylaws are grandfathered in. So that's what actually allowed us to build the additional 10% onto the side of the house, or onto the side of the garden suite, which when we go inside and you see, it's added additional living space, which is going to be great for a tenant.
Yeah, let's head on in.
So this is the inside of the garden suite. It's pretty cool, actually. They did a lot of really nice features in here. They have the vaulted ceiling. There's some LED lighting back there. The one thing I want to mention is that there's only hydro and water running to this, so there's no gas. So for heat, the heat source, they're using a ductless mini split system. The bedrooms also have baseboard heating, because sometimes the ductless mini splits, when it gets super cold outside, they don't work as effectively. So they've got the baseboard heating there for that. This section over here is the addition that was built. So in there, you've got the bathroom, a full 4-piece bathroom in there, which is super nice. And then you've got 2 relatively good-sized bedrooms in here. So this one is a bedroom, doesn't have a closet, but it's a good size. It's a good-sized bedroom. Definitely enough for like a queen bed and a wardrobe in here. And then in here, this one's a full bedroom. So, and you've got full-size closets. The other cool feature in here is that these are supposed to, they automatically light up. Oh, nice little cool feature. And you have a nice little backyard space out there.
So in addition to what Chris was talking about with sometimes the different features here, having the vaulted ceilings, the extra lighting, which is super nice. We have had some garden suites, some of our clients that, when you have your 2 garage doors at the front, how are we going to go ahead and use up that space? And typically that being maybe the windows of the unit. And I have had some clients where they've done just actually full windows, both sides. So there would be no wall here and this would be living room. The hard part with that is that you lose a wall, and a lot of times these walls are needed for cupboards or TV or for a living, for your living room and such. So the way it was done in this unit here is we have the one living room window, and then in the other bedroom would be the other window. So those were the 2 garage doors were. So that was like different layout, different options, different things to consider. And then if we come over here into the kitchen, Chris, do you want to open up that the cupboard there? And we have our laundry right here in the kitchen. So everything that you need is in here. I mean, we obviously have full stove, fridge, we have a dishwasher on this side of the island, super great. Everyone loves an island. And then we have our laundry and then full 4-piece bathroom as well. And that's from this space that we use with the extra 10%. So it becomes really helpful and gives us a really good layout and lots of space as well. We'll add some pictures later, show you on the back side of that is actually where the furnace is. So this is how we were able to use all the space really well. So we just wanted to give you a quick rundown of some of the numbers that we're looking at. So again, the main house was turned into a duplex. So we got 2 units there. The main floor is 3 bedrooms. Nice finish as well, not everything redone, not everything brand new, but very nice and very spacious as well, good square footage. We're getting $2,500 for the main floor. The basement was all brand new, newly renovated, 2 bedrooms, and we're getting $2,000 for rent for that. Those are all plus utilities. And then we currently have the garden suite that just ended up finishing completion. It's ready for tenants now, and that one's listed at $2,400, the 2-bedroom unit. Again, the rents will change, whether it be in a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom or even a bachelor. So keep all that stuff in mind, but that's what we're fetching at this one right now.
In terms of cost to convert the garage into a garden suite, it ranges anywhere between about $140 to $170, depending on how nice you want the finishes to be. And it also depends on the size of it. So if it's a single car garage, it's going to cost you a little bit less. But I would budget anywhere between $140 and $170 to get a good, good sized 2-bedroom garage conversion done. And the one last thing we're going to mention about this type of conversion is that there's the benefit of it is obviously it's a lot cheaper than building something from scratch. The downside of it is that there's a lot less flexibility in what you can do with the space, especially if you're going to something that's a 1-car garage. Typically those are going to be bachelor suites, maybe even a 1-bedroom if you can get a decent sized one-car garage. But you have a lot less flexibility in what you can do with the space. This one turned out fantastic. We were able to, maximize the space in here, but it's not always that easy with these types of conversions.
Yeah, so that's it for this one. We're gonna head to the last one, which is our prefab garden suite. So we're here at the prefab garden suite now this time, and we wanted to obviously show you inside. It's a different concept, but just before we started, just a little bit of history. So this property here, a bungalow again on the Hamilton Mountain, my client actually bought that in 2020. And our plan there was to do a duplex. We wanted to legalize the basement, make it a 2 unit, legal 2 units, and that was our plan. That's what he did. And then in 2022, he had decided it was good time to do a turnover there and sell it and maybe cash out, as they say, put those towards some other projects. So that was the plan there. And then in 2022, we listed it. And then actually it was Chris's client that bought it. So I like to say we kept it in the family because I love that. We're surrounded by investors. We work with investors, our brokerage, all of the other realtors. So a lot of times we have these opportunities that we could just, kind of work through with each other, depending on everyone being at different stages of their investment journey. So this was super cool that my client was able to do what he wanted to with his plan, be able to sell it, go on doing his next projects, and then your client was able to jump in and in this case did the garden suite here.
We were also very thankful to Tammy's client because all of the hookups for the garden suite were already kind of pre-done, because typically the way these properties work is like your sewage line and stuff like that need to tie into the existing house.
You're welcome.
And Tammy's client had already done all that stuff, so it made it a lot easier for my client when he bought it to do what we needed to do from doing the prefab.
Yeah. So this one here was really interesting because it stopped all production on the street. The traffic, the neighbors were outside. The neighbors were like,
the crane was late showing up. It was supposed to be at like 10 o'clock in the morning, but didn't show up till 3 in the afternoon. So it was a whole day.
Because they build this off-site. They build it off-site, they bring it in, and then they use a crane, they lift it over top of the house, and they position it into place. So it's definitely, I don't know why, maybe I'm just a nerd about it, but it was exciting to watch, and it was interesting for sure. So we're inside the prefab garden suite here. One thing just to point out is that when this one was built, it's built off-site, okay? And they have a typical design that they're gonna use, but it was built in 2 pieces in this case, okay? And then what they did was they brought it over, like I said, they used a crane, they put the 2 pieces together. So on one side here, we have our living room, kitchen, and other amenities, bathroom, and then we have our bedrooms on the other side. So this is what they did. They separated the 2 units, put them together, and that's how they created the garden suite, right?
Yep.
It's got everything you need.
Yep, and I mean, if you come over here, just over here quickly, you can see this split here. This is where, so this half here, from here to there, that was 1 piece, and then from here to there is the second piece. You've got your utility room over here, so electrical in here. The kitchen is a little bit tight, so this is the one, again, this is one of the downsides of doing the prefab, is it's, you're kind of limited with whatever the design layout is of the builder. You've got laundry over here. And then you've got a full 3-piece bath over here.
Still, at the end of the day, you have everything you need. They've got stove, they've even got a little dishwasher, so, and they've got their own little yard space in that as well. So really great space. These are renting actually pretty well. The garden suites, it's still very new to a lot of people, even the tenants. When we tell the tenants, hey, we've got a garden suite available, or we have it listed, if they know it's a garage, a lot of times people are thinking, I'm living in a garage, that's weird. Then when you tell them the prefab's a little different, and the newly built one's obviously a little bit different, but I feel like a lot of the tenants even have to really realize that they have a completely separate little mini house. Like, it's amazing. So we're having a lot of clients do this now. We've got clients heavy in, Hamilton, Brantford, Niagara area. Welland, yeah. And no, I say those areas because those are the areas we cover, but there's a lot of other areas as well. But it's becoming very popular, so they're doing very well. Even with refinancing, banks are able to refinance them now, and they're recognizing them. So a lot of pluses. Thank you to the trailblazers that went out and did all of these to start off, and then everything is now starting to catch up with banks and popularity and so on. So really great investment, something great to add to your portfolio for sure.
The one thing I will add is I think it's going to take a little bit of time for people to realize, the tenants to realize the value of these properties. Mm-hmm. They do take a little bit. I'm finding them they take a little bit longer to fill. So just keep that in mind as you're kind of building your budget. But you will get them filled. You're going to get them filled with a better quality tenant because the rents are higher. And as more and more people start renting these out, the demand for them is going to start to increase, because I think tenants at the end of the day would prefer their own separate space than having to share a space in a duplex.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one here, just to talk about the numbers a little bit, the rents in the main house. So you got a 2-bedroom on the main floor, and that one's currently rented at $2,300. And the basement unit, which was converted into a 2-bedroom as well, that one's getting $2,000 rent plus utilities. And then the garden suite here is listed right now still for rent, right?
It's currently rented for $2,200, but
they're
we're
leaving.
listing it now.
Yeah.
They're leaving, so we're gonna up the rent to $2,300.
$2,300. And then the cost to do the garden suite here?
Yeah, so the cost of this one is gonna be very similar to one of the first ones that we showed you guys, the build from scratch. So this one here is about $300K, it costs in total. They had to do a lot of like landscaping and stuff around the property. So that is included as part of that cost. The main benefit and the main reason why my client decided to do a prefab versus having it built, I mean, one of the things we talked about at the first property is, working with the tenant in the basement when you're building something. This one here was very easy because it was built off-site and it was brought on-site. So there's very little disruption to the tenant. Other than one day of maybe not having power.
Yeah.
The rest of the time it was just very easy for them to just drop it in place and then get it rented.
So the pros and cons being the con.
The con would be the cost.
Price. Yeah, and then the pro.
The pro would be the ease of bringing it in.
A little less disruptive.
Right.
Yeah. So today we showed you 3 different options for some garden suites. There actually are more. Those are the 3 we wanted to show you today. Just a really great way to add value to maybe a property you already have, or if you're going to be looking for a property, what you need to look for. Just make sure that you're definitely checking with the bylaws, check with your municipality, make sure you have the right crew behind you. Everything changes from city to city of what's required, and you just want to make sure that you're doing everything right. You don't want to have any hiccups there. So make sure you check into those, and then just the value really of adding these garden suites.
For sure. So the one thing I want to mention is that the garden suites are very, very new. So there's a lot of different ways that they can be done. We've shown you a couple examples here, or a few examples today. But there's definitely different ways that they can be done.
Yeah.
The other thing I just want to mention too is that, like when Tammy's client bought this property, he had one goal in mind of what he was trying to do. When my client bought this property, he had an entirely different view of what he wanted to do. And the main reason for that is the market had changed. So costs had gone up, interest rates had gone up. So we were trying to look for ways to maximize the plot of land that we have that we're working with.
Yeah.
And so, we were able to come across this great property where we were able to do what we needed to do.
Yeah.
And if you want more information, the Rockstar community is a great place to do that. Book a time with your coach, or if you want to reach out to one of us, we'd be more than happy to answer any questions for you.
Yep, we could do a one-on-one. We can answer any questions, anything you'd like. Hope you found this all useful and you enjoyed the garden suites, and we'll keep you posted on any more. Thanks.
Bye, guys.